I will talk about the foundation concepts for this show. Okay? And after that, we'll go into discussion because I talk about anything on this show and I examine it from the Lakota Star Knowledge perspective. And and then you need to know what that is, yeah, so you understand what I'm saying. And also, when I say these things, I say it in such a way as to present you a perspective, okay? I'm not asking you to accept it, and I'm not asking you to believe it. Yeah, you can disagree with it all you want. You can totally reject it. That's okay. All I'm doing is presenting this perspective, okay? That it does exist and that there's still a little bit of us that do believe this way because not all Indians believe this either. Yeah, because of what happened in the early days of the reservation when it was a very difficult time and we were not allowed to leave the reservation in those days. We were not allowed to have weapons, so we couldn't hunt for the foods that we need. Yeah, and or pick um, wild vegetables. We were not allowed to do that. So we only had to eat what the government gave to us, which was really, really unhealthy foods. So we were hit physically. Now remember, in our way, the self has four parts. You have the physical body, the mind, the emotional self, and the soul. And those four parts are connected together. So if one part goes down, we become sick. And pretty soon the other three parts are gonna go down too because they're all connected to each other. And where they connect is a sacred area inside of you called your sacred center. Yeah. So first of all, our bodies were hit because we're not allowed to eat healthy foods, so we develop heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. And then there was a law made in April 10th, 1883, that said we could not practice our ceremonies and we could not, we could not participate in their ceremonies and we could not conduct them, and that our language has also become illegal. So that that law hit us spiritually and emotionally. So look at that. We were hit in three of the four parts of the self all at once: the physical body, the emotional self, and the soul. We were hit in those three areas at once. That leaves one part left, the mind. And that's how we became weak minded. Yeah? We were hit in those three parts: the body, the emotional self, the soul. We were hit in those three parts incredibly, severely hard. And that's how we became weak minded. Then the preachers came, the churches came, and they saw our condition was perfect for brainwashing. And that's how we became Christian. And during that process, the priests changed definitions of certain words to Christian definitions. Yeah. So before the reservation, you could say, imagine a big house. Okay. You define it. Imagine a big house. This was the Lakota way before the reservation. Okay. That represents the Lakota way before the reservation. And then when we were put on the reservations, the priests went in that house, took out one floor tile, and burned the house down. And then with this one floor tile, they painted a cross on it Maybe they poured some holy water on it. And this is symbolic of Christianizing or Catholicizing that one tiny remnant of that house. And then these priests said, this is the Lakota way. This one little tile. And because we were weak minded and we were being brainwashed, we accepted what they presented to us as the Lakota way. Even though it's a tiny, tiny, Christianized, Catholicized remnant. Yeah, it's not the real ancient way at all. That's why most Lakota people today don't know the ancient way. They don't know the Lakota Star Knowledge way. Yeah, what I just explained here, this is the reason why they don't know. And when I talk about it, they don't want to believe it because they're too Christian influenced. And even when they're not going to church anymore, they're still thinking in that Christian influence. It's called duality, and that's what I'm going to explain here in a few minutes. Okay, so this is the reason why most Lakota people today don't know this perspective, and when they hear about it, it does not fit their Christian way of thinking. It does not fit their Christian influenced way of thinking. It does not fit their dualistic way of thinking. So they reject it and say, that's nonsense. So most Lakota people today are rejecting the ancient way. But there are very few of us who still hold on to it. Yeah, because this is a very ancient way. And in this ancient way, we called ourselves Ikche Oyate. That means the common people or the human nation. Men who believe this ancient way call themselves Ikche Wichasha. That means human man. Women, they will say Ikche Wiyan. That means human woman. But today's Lakota people, most of them, because of this experience I just told you, most of them call themselves Lakota. They don't say Ikche anymore. That's kind of sad. Yeah? Instead, they call themselves Lakota. And to me, it's nice, but you're separating yourself from the human category. Yeah? And that's not the ancient way. So this is an important thing to know. Yeah? So that's why most Lakota people of today do not believe what I say on this show. But that's okay, because this show is recorded and it will be on the internet as long as there's an internet. And maybe someday in the future they'll find it after a very, very severe destruction has occurred and people are trying to rebuild themselves. Maybe they will find this show. And they'll say, oh, that's what it was. And start believing again. Yeah? So it's for everybody. Because the ancient way is founded on natural law, and that people call themselves human. Ikche Oyate. This show is for everybody. The message is for everybody. Okay? So, onwards here. Okay, so that's important to know, okay? Because a lot of people are not aware of that experience that happened. Most people think that Indians were wandering the prairies, chasing tumbleweeds, and now today we're all powwow dancers and flute players, and talking poetically through the prairie. Yeah, a bunch of native poets were walking the prairie. And what was that one that I said? That one of these shows. I can't remember how I said that. You see these things on Facebook, yeah. May your life always be happy, like the buffalo wanders through the prairie. These stupid paintings make us look like we're all poets. They're not even like that.